Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV, where I'm Adini Ajishafe. It's ongoing right now. Brazil, Switzerland. That's a game that a lot of people want to see. What will Brazil be doing? The Samba Boys, as they call them, they are really fighting hard against Switzerland. It's still 0-0, and that match is really very tough between the two countries. I have in the studio, in the person of Yusuf Akogu. Yusuf, a lot of action in the world of football today. We've seen two matches now, at least the two African countries really show class, Cameroon, Ghana. Although, first of all, we have to appreciate the fact that Ghana really made Africans proud for the fact that they fought against South Korea.
Yeah, absolutely. They did their best today. Not, without giving us the usual, heart attack.
High blood pressure.
they always do. But eventually they won the game. Good one for them. Good one for Africa. Congratulations to Africa. Then we hope that better things are ahead.
We hope for better things ahead now, while we'll be giving you update concerning Brazil, Switzerland. Let's quickly look at, we'll be moving around. The FIFA World Cup Group G and H results. Matches have been played, about 2 matches now. Let's look at the results, while we'll be giving you update concerning Brazil and Switzerland. Now, let's look at that result quickly, talking about Cameroon playing against Serbia. It ended 3-3. Let's start with this. Castelletto scored first, and you have Pavlovic making it at the almost dot of the first half for Serbia. Then you have Milinkovic-Savic, what they call SMS, also making it the second. You have Mitrovic making it 3-0, rather 3-1, before Abubakar Vincent, the captain, fantastic, was able to do it against them. And you have Eric Choupo-Moting scoring again, making it 3-3, a hard-fought result.
A hard-fought result for Cameroon. I was expecting them to do better than this, because if you look at their first game, they did so well in the first, especially in the first half, before they conceded that goal in the second half to Jibril Embolo, who happened to be a Cameroon descent of Swiss international. So given what they did today, I really expected them to beat the Serbia national team, because going into their last game against Brazil, I think it's going to be a hard nut to crack for them, especially given that currently the two teams, Brazil and Switzerland, they are playing 0-0 as it is now. So it's going to depend on what the result tonight is going to be at the end of the day. That will determine whether the Brazilian will feel the very strong side against the Cameroonian. But from what I saw again of the Cameroonian today, I really do not think they can actually go far in this tournament, because at the beginning of the tournament there was so much hope. Samuel Eto'o and Rigobert Song coming up to say, okay, Cameroon will win the World Cup. But from what they have actually shown so far in this tournament, I do not think they're actually ready to even get to the round of 16, not to even talk of winning the World Cup. So I think they need to do more if they really they want to advance. And beating Brazil, I don't think that's going to be an easy. It's not going to be an easy game for them to play. So we look forward to what they can do. We're not in football. Football is not mathematics. So anything is actually possible. We actually think they can actually come up good today. When they meet the Samba Boys.
Well, really, Cameroon really show class. Even though it went 3-3 as a draw, but you just have to give kudos, because it's not easy to come from behind after you are trailing 3-1.
Yes,
for you to actually get a draw. Yes,
I think Cameroon went ahead midway into the second half of the game, but they lost concentration momentarily, and they considered that 2 goals in the last minute of the first half. Then they came in again in the second half. You saw how the Cameroonian defense were, embarrassed for that second goal by Mitrovic. So I think if they want to do more, to go find the tournament, they need to check some of those, the loopholes. Because given what I saw today, because they had 2 good chances, from their first game and this second game. This should have been, their chances for them to qualify for the next round. But for me, I don't think they have taken those chances, because going against Brazil, which is the tournament favorite, I think it's going to be very difficult for them.
It could be a difficult one for Cameroon, really. They fought hard against Switzerland after, Serbia. But that game, it was like, in fact, they are even thankful that they were able to come back to get a 3-3 draw, that at least they got a point in this game, even though they ought to win, so that they could have hope, like you said.
As a win would have even been better for them, because they can actually hope for a draw against Brazil and then probably qualify on 4 points. But that was not to be. Well, kudos to Vincent Abubakar. When he came in, he made a goal and then scored another one, which was very, very good for them. I think maybe the coach should think twice, maybe starting Choupo-Moting in their next game against Brazil. Maybe that will be a very good one for them, and they probably probably end them the result they need against Brazil and qualify for the round of 16.
Well, we've been looking at the game between Cameroon. Well, they fought out against Serbia. 3-3 it ended. It was a hard-fought match, particular match that actually happened between the two countries. But right now, as we speak, Brazil are facing Switzerland. It's still 0-0 in the 35th minute. The Brazilians are fighting hard against the Swiss team, and it's a battle to see. Well, the two teams are really trying to at least upgrade their style of play. Right now, I'll be giving you update concerning that. The match is still ongoing. 0-0 rather. First half, 35th minute between the two countries. Right now, while we're giving you update concerning that, let's look at the games that have been played earlier on. We've talked about Cameroon versus Serbia, a match that saw 6 goals thriller, rather 6 goals there, 3-3 there. And you have South Korea, Ghana. Yusuf, that was the game that got Africans, Ghanaians, Nigerians, everybody happy that yes, Ghana, they show class against South Korea. Despite the fact that Cho got a brace, another player from Ghana, Kudus Mohammed, was able to score a brace also. Salis could score in the 24th minute, and you have the man Kudus was able to make it 2 for his country, while Cho was able to reply 2.
A fantastic game for there for Ghana. Mohamed Kudus, what a player he is, a man of the match for me. Although I had my heart in my mouth when that game was played.
it was like because it's going to be like Cameroon, Serbia.
Absolutely. Well, initially the Koreans, as they anytime they are coming to the tournament like this, they match together and come with one team. I think they did very, very well. They started the game like a house on fire. 7 corner kick within the first 15 minutes of the game.
It was a very tough match.
It was a very, very tough match. But Ghana were able to keep they were able to to keep their cool, defended very well, and then went ahead and scored those 2 quick goals by the Southampton defender Salisu, and then Mohamed Kudus got in that fantastic header off a cross from Jordan Ayew. It was a very, very good one for Ghanaian, but that's loss of concentration momentarily that are usually associated with African team was what we saw again in the second half,
yes,
where the Ghanaian
they lost concentration
momentarily, and the Korean within 3 minutes they got those two goals and then equalized the game. But thank God the Ghanaian were able to again rise up to the occasion and then get that the winner, which is a very good one for Africa. That's why we're celebrating today.
A good one for Africa. How do you feel now? I know a lot of Nigeria, I don't know, but for me, I'm so happy. I don't know. I just feel yes, Ghana finally they made me happy.
Yeah, as an African, well, you don't have nothing to you don't have to have any grudges against your fellow brothers. I think Ghana, they did very well. They are representing Africa. They're not representing only Ghana. They are there as African representatives. So the whole of Africa is behind them, just like Morocco did yesterday. We're behind them when they got that fantastic result against Belgium yesterday. So Ghana, I think I was all Ghanaian when the game was on today.
Of course, you just have to be Ghanaian.
So it doesn't matter whether we lost against them. I mean, they stopped us from qualifying for the World Cup. We didn't merit it. If we went head to head, they were better. That's why they are there. So I think we need to support them. And then kudos to them. And then hopefully they make it to the second round in their next game against the Uruguayans.
Hopefully they will make it to the second round in their next game. Well, still giving you update concerning the game between Brazil and Switzerland. It's still 0-0, the 38th minute. Well, that match is very tough. The Samba boys, can they do it? Still 0-0, Brazil, Switzerland. The Swiss, yes, they were able to at least fight hard. They've been fighting hard so far for the past 38 minutes. And let's see what will be happening concerning this first half. We'll be giving you updates on that while we're looking at all the games played so far today. Let's go back to the result that we've been talking about. Well, for Ghana, it was a win that they really wanted to get after getting that 3-2 against Portugal. They needed this to keep hope alive, and it's happening right now. Now, let's look at the tables. Maybe we should take it one by one. Let's start with, we have 2 groups there, Group G and Group H. Let's start with Group G, looking at the way the table is standing right now in that particular order. Despite the fact that Brazil, Switzerland are playing right now, Cameroon, Serbia, they played their game earlier on, and they have you see Cameroon now, because they shared the sport against Serbia, they got 1 point because the first game they lost, and Serbia also, they got a point. So Brazil, Switzerland are fighting hard to see who tops this group. Second match is on right now, and you have Brazil, Switzerland.
Yeah, as it is now, the Brazilian and the Switzerland, they are 4 points apiece because the game is still 0-0. So, but for Cameroon and Serbia, it's going to be a very tough one for them to qualify. Because when you look at it, the last game Brazil is going against, Cameroon is going against Brazil, where the Serbia and Switzerland will cancel each other out. So it's going to be a very, very difficult one for them. But I think, given at what we're actually seeing in this group, I think I don't want to predict, but I think this game is for Brazil to lose.
I'm laughing because you are not even sure. It's like you are a bit kind of unsure that, okay, can Brazil actually win this game?
Yeah, and football is
a lot of shocking moments at this World Cup.
Absolutely.
Nobody saw so many shocking defeats and draws here and there. So you just have to be very careful now. Don't underrate Switzerland. Right now, if they have fought so hard to get to the 48th minute and it's still 0-0 between the two countries, anything can still happen.
Yeah, certainly. They have a chance. They have a chance. They are going against Brazil, one of the World Cup winners. So it's going to be a very difficult one for them. And I think I have this feeling that Brazil is going to win at the end of the day. We saw the same performance from the Serbia against the Samba boys. They came in the second half and then got us two fantastic goals from Richarlison, which won them the game. So I think that is going to play out again today. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Brazil and who else will join them in the round of 16 from the Group H.
But really, so far, before we actually got in here, someone was saying this Brazilian squad are not so strong, in depth, talking about the strength of the team. You consider Brazilian team, anytime you think of them, you are so relaxed that, yes, a lot of Nigerians actually adopt Brazil as their country, right from so many years ago up till now. And that person was like, okay, this time around, this Brazilian team doesn't look like the way they used to be. That anytime you think of Brazilian squad, you just have that, oh, they are going to do well. But this time around, it's a bit kind of shaky.
Yeah, but at the beginning of they're one of the favorites coming into this tournament. And though you can't really say that because the quality is there. It's still there in that Brazilian team. They have the like of Neymar,
but seems to be a kind
Casemiro.
of a bit more flamboyant squad, except for the likes of Thiago Silva, who you know is a no-nonsense
exactly. If you look at this tournament so far, you really can't really pick out a country that has, except maybe Portugal. Or Spain. I think Portugal, to me, I think they have a very good squad on paper compared to the rest of
but paper doesn't do the job.
Absolutely. Compared to the rest of the team. But if you look at this Brazilian team, I think they may not really be one of the best on paper. But when you look at that, the quality and the team, the squad, they have the squad depth to go far in this tournament.
Well, we've been looking at games that have been played on so far today. We saw there Cameroon 3-3 against Serbia, and also Ghana defeating South Korea, courtesy of Kudus and Salisu getting those goals for the Black Stars of Ghana, celebrating them right now. The African teams really, one way or the other, at least all of them are really fighting hard to see what they can do. Tunisia, Morocco. So far, Morocco have been outstanding. At least they have 4 points in their group. And you have Ghana, I still hope there. And now we look at, like we said, we've looked at the Group G. Let's look at Group H table, even though the game is ongoing between Brazil and Switzerland. 43 minutes, and it's still 0-0, goalless there at the stadium. They call 974 Stadium. Well, Portugal, yes, they will be playing their game later at night. I have Ghana second for the fact that they were able to defeat Korea. And you have Uruguay with a point, and you have Korea Republic with a point. Yusuf, this is another tough table. Tough one, yes, because it's down to the wires between, or the match between Portugal and Uruguay tonight. Also, let's see what's going to happen to this Group H.
Yeah, this group is going to be open, especially what is going to happen tonight when Portugal take on Uruguay will actually determine what will happen in this group. Because as it is now, if Uruguay go ahead and beat Portugal today, that will throw open
it will throw it open, but I'm seeing a big one between Ghana and Uruguay.
Yeah,
remember what happened last World Cup?
Exactly, in 2010 World Cup. So Ghana will be coming going into that game with a lot of emotion, with a lot of revenge mission kind of. But I think
they shouldn't allow that revenge to actually
get into their head, because that may end up counting against them. So I think they need to go in, prepare well, go in and see how they can actually win them. I think they are actually very good. They're a very good side, very disciplined defensively, and then anytime they are moving forward, they move forward in mass and then defended also in mass as well. So which is I think is working for them in this tournament. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't get the result against the Portuguese team, which I think
they fought really hard.
I think they over-respected the Portuguese national team. I mean, that was what counted against them. So I think Ghana is in a very poor position to qualify for the round of 16. Maybe Ghana and Morocco. I'm actually banking on them to make it to the round of 16.
For Africa, right?
For Africa, yes.
Well, there's still hope that let's see what they'll be doing there. Talking about the group of Ghana, they are Group H, where Portugal, Ghana, they are there with 3 points apiece, and you have Uruguay and also South Korea just try to see if they can change things. But Ghana really have a real score to settle against Uruguay. Looking at what happened in the 2010 World Cup, they just want to get their own revenge mission now. Uruguay will have to fight hard to actually defeat Ghana. That is if they can beat Portugal. Although someone saying in the morning that it's a 50-50 game between Portugal and Uruguay. While we're looking at that, quickly, I'll still giving you update there. The match is now 45th minute, and it's still 0-0 between Brazil and Switzerland. What a match. Well, first half, remember the last game, the first game they played, Brazil played first half also, before they get those 2 goals in the second half, trying to try out their opponent first and see their pattern. By the second half now, let's see what will be happening between Brazil and Switzerland.
Yeah, I think the second half is going to be, some of these games these days are actually won from the bench. If you look at what happened between Morocco and Belgium yesterday, the 2 substitutes came in and then scored those 2 goals.
Abouklal.
Absolutely, and the Zakaria that came in and then scored those two good goals. So I think this game is going to be won from the bench. It's going to be between the 2 coaches who get the statics right in the second half. That was what Cameroon couldn't do in their first game against Switzerland. That they lost that game by 1-0. So I think as it is now, Brazil, you can't really rule them out. They're 5-time world champion. I think coming into this tournament as one of the favorites and then going against Switzerland. Although one thing is that anytime Brazil is playing against a European team, they have a way of find a way to study them, get their pattern of play, and then come in the second half and they key the game off. So they're actually good at doing that. I think that's going to happen in the second half of this game.
Well, that could happen, but right now to let you know, first half is over and ended 0-0 goalless between Switzerland and the Samba Boys of Brazil. Right now, a lot of fans that follow Brazil Samba Boys will be wishing that second half, maybe they will get those goals just the way they did in the first half. Yes, Richarlison was at least their savior there. Let's see what will be happening concerning the second half when they will be resuming. But right now, ended 0-0, stalemate, goalless, that you can call it, between Brazil and Switzerland. Now, let's talk about, looking at the fixtures that will still be coming up later. Looking at that fixture, even though Brazil, Switzerland ongoing, then Portugal versus Uruguay, 8 p.m. Let's look at this, Yusuf. Portugal, Uruguay. We know that Portugal, they won against Ghana. They were able to do it. For Uruguay, it was, they've got a point. A goalless draw. But right now, this particular game, you look at Uruguay's squad, Valverde, Suarez, Cavani, think of their names. You look at Portugal's side, it's like, Fernandes, Ronaldo, Pepe, all of them are there. Their goalkeeper, Costa, and all that. It's like a balanced game.
Yes, I think it's a balanced game on paper, but I think the Portuguese have an edge because if you look at the squad depth and the quality of players, the Cavani, the Suarez, they are aging players. But if you look at the Uruguayan team, the Portugal national team is a mixture of old and the young. So I think.
But Valverde, outstanding player. So let's see what he will be adding to that particular team.
Of course, he's gonna make create a whole lot of problem for the Portuguese. But I think at the end of the day, the odds is still in favor of the Portuguese team to actually win this game. Because when you look at it, I saw the Koreans earlier today against the Ghanaian, and then considering the fact that Uruguay played them in their first game and they couldn't even score even a goal. So I think going against the Portuguese national team today is going to be a hard nut for them to crack, because against Korean that I saw earlier today, I think they should have scored 1 or 2 or 3 goals, given the kind of squad that they have. But they couldn't do that. Then I don't think that would be easy for them to beat Portugal. But again, football is not mathematics.
Because if you recall, Japan defeated Germany.
Exactly.
Costa Rica that was wallowed by Spain, defeated Japan.
Yes. So that is the mystery of football. So, but again, it's a 50-50 chance for the two teams. But I think I give it slightly to the European. Team. I think they are a better side.
Okay, they call them Selecao, just like the Brazilian team. But really, we've been focusing on Portugal versus Uruguay. That match will be by 8 p.m. And it's going to be a tough one because you look at the depth of the two, it seems very balanced. But right now, Yusuf seems to be tilting towards Portugal. I'm sure you are a Ronaldo fan. But really, a tough one there between Uruguay and Portugal. Let's see what's going to be happening. If you look at the way the table is standing in that group, a tough one. So they want to fight hard to see who stay and who actually get down. You have Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, Korea Republic. All Ghana needs to do is to make sure they get a win, their own pound of flesh. Though while they are looking for their own pound of flesh, you shouldn't actually blind them and then they play wrongly because I know they have a big score to settle against Uruguay. Really, in fact,
absolutely,
they can't wait.
Absolutely, the like of Asamoah Gyan
will be talking to those guys.
Absolutely, you guys will have to do this for me.
Do
this
guy for,
denied Africa a chance to play a semi-final at the World Cup in 2010. So we have to do it. So the like of Mohamed Kudus, I think, is one of the fantastic players.
I'm sure. Sorry to cut you. I'm sure they will get the clip, sit tight and watch and be like, let's do this for Ghana.
For Africa.
For Africa. Absolutely. This was very painful. We're almost making it to semi-final.
For the first time.
Now, let's drop them so that they can feel the pain they inflicted upon us in 2010.
In 2010, absolutely. I think that's all those things is playing in the players and even the coaches' mind. So I think I hope and I really pray that will not count against them at the end of the day, because it's going to be very. They should just
go out there and
play their game, relax, enjoy themselves, and then score their goals as they've always been doing. And then for their talisman, Mohamed Kudus, I must give kudos to him. A fantastic player he is, and I think his days in the Dutch league I think they are numbered. Absolutely. I think
when you begin to give kudos to Kudus, oh my goodness, Yusuf Akugo there. I'm sure you are about saying kudos. Just to get you on a lighter note.
Absolutely.
Good one. But really, when you look at Ghana, I'm not trying to maybe just to hype them, but really, from the beginning of the fact that they came to Abuja and dislodged us from getting to the World Cup, I knew they meant business, and really they deserve it. If they can't scale through from this group, all they need to do is get a win against Uruguay so that they can follow whoever, maybe Portugal or whoever will qualify between the remaining three. But I want Ghana to actually scale through in this group.
I think they will scale through in this group. Their coach Otto Addo has been doing a fantastic job, technically very, very sound from what he's done so far. His substitution very on point. I mean, tactically is done so well. Against Portugal, they were just unfortunate not to have even gotten a point from that game. But I think so far he's done so well, and I think Ghana, I think I'm giving them that chance of making it out of this group.
Well, from the way it is right now, the whole Africans are really supporting the African nations: Tunisia, Morocco, Ghana, Cameroon,
Senegal.
And at least not forgetting the Teranga Lions of Senegal. They need to fight hard to make us proud. We are hoping that at least 3 from this all these groups, 3 African nations should be able to scale through to at least the knockout stage, right?
Yeah, that would be a very big, that would be history. This will be the first time that's going to happen, but it's very, very possible. Senegal has a chance. I think their next game is against Ecuador. It's going to be a very tight one for them. I hope they make it through to the round of 16. I think Morocco are almost there. I think Ghana is also hopeful, but for Cameroon and Tunisia, I think it's going to be very difficult.
But especially for Tunisia, because from the way it is, they need to.
Yes,
I don't know what
I was disappointed. I was hoping that after their first game against Denmark, where they played very well, it was hoping that they were going to build on that and beat the Australians. But that wasn't to happen. They lost that game. Disappointedly. I think against France, it will be difficult for them.
It will be very difficult for Tunisia to defeat France from the way it is. But I'm looking at what if France, now they got 6 points, they might just be like, okay, let's just play this game. Those guys have not played before. Although this is World Cup, they want to show their pride that we won all our group stage matches. But If they could at least, I'm not saying they should reduce their strength, but at least
I think the French team will want to top the group as a
with
group winner with
points.
9 points or maybe 7 points if possible.
At least a draw.
Yes, a draw. I think is enough for them to top the group. So they don't want to take that chances.
So by at least trying to say, okay, let's play players that are not maybe that have not featured a while.
Yeah, maybe play some of their reserve teams. It's reserve players rather.
Well, from the way it is, we just have to wrap it up now. We've given you update concerning Brazil, Switzerland. It ended on 0-0 in first half. The Sambas against the Swiss, who will win this battle by the time the next second half starts. We've been talking with Akogo Yusuf in the studio, the man that gives kudos to kudos. Good one.
A fantastic player he
Good
is.
one. Thank you very much. At least we've given you updates concerning that. We'll be giving you more on our show, 360 Sport, where we always want to make sure we give you all the details when it comes to sport. I am Adeniyi Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.